Good evening, Final Fantasy fans, and welcome to another presentation of the Winter Tournament Chaos's Winter Carnival 2023. I don't know why that was such a mouthful. I'm Darkmoon EX, joined in the booth by Thavian.
Thavian Hawk, thank you.
Thavian. Okay, that's. I've heard it pronounced once or twice, and my brain is just like, so. But we're here with the second game of potentially best of three for ADR and Krelen. ADR took game one, as you can see here on the loading screen. We're waiting for the second game to start up, but this could be a pretty good match. I've played Krelen. They beat me in pods, so obviously they're better than I am. I'm not sure if that's a high bar or not. ADR is a solid player. He's been putting in a lot of work lately. Thavian, how do you feel about this match?
Honestly, I've seen both of them race. I am very interested to see how this goes, especially after the past few days' seeds, including this morning's. There have been some very crazy matches. I need to see it start to understand.
Looks like Forced Fighter, Forced Black Mage. ADR went with Thief and Red Mage. Krelen went with Red Mage and White Mage. We know the White Mage has -4 MP, which I think is probably the reason why ADR didn't take them. It's a -4 MP per level, so they're going to be capped at 5. Red Mage just looked pretty good all around. Black Mage has no ribbon as their major downfall, but otherwise should be okay. Fighter was looking at ding to his hit percent, but had legendary weapons, and Thief was lacking some agility, which made him almost like a normal Thief instead of the bonused up Thief that we've gotten used to playing here in this randomizer. So, interesting party comp. I lean towards ADR's comp myself. Maybe let two of those characters like kiss dirt later and do like Fighter Red Mage or something, especially with that fighter being able to already use legendary weapons. Maybe don't even have to class change. I don't know how I feel about Rainbow in this particular instance. Thavian?
Honestly, the Rainbow does give you the better availability of that white magic, but the Red Mage should have a reasonably good selection of white magic, and it also comes with Warp without the detriment to the number of spell casts it can have, so it's up in the air. The White Mage does get 2 level 1 spell casts free to start with, so that if the early level 1 spells are really valuable, that could be nice, but if you need those level 1 spells in white that fast, that's worrying.
If it's Fade, it's great, but like past their first, I think 5 or 6 levels, then those bonus charges are basically nullified by their cap of 5 MP. The bonus warp is nice though on the Red Mage. That's true. Both of them having that Red Mage is going to be helpful for them. Bearing in mind, of course, that that's a level 8 slot, and Red Mages generally don't get level 8 magic. So hey, 2 bonus shots you never have to worry about. It's 10 minutes on their clock. They've got a 10-minute delay. We should be seeing the game start up anytime soon now, and then we can see how this magic plays out. But this is, and ADR has, oh yeah, he's using his winter mix that he runs through the emulator. This is entirely run through his emulator. You'll see some occasional little color issues, but otherwise perfectly fine. But otherwise, they're playing the exact same seed. Nothing to worry about there.
That was Cure 4 and Life 2 in level 1 magic. Excellent pickups.
It is. Unfortunately for that Red Mage, the Cure 4 is unlearnable. So that Life 2 is just about as good. You let a character die and bring them back, they're fine. Pro Rings for 7 grand. Scimitar +2, Saber +2. Those are viable. Those will get you for a little while at least.
They are actual weapons, unlike what we saw earlier today with Fizzlebeef being stuck with a dagger for a good chunk of the game.
Dagger does work. Dagger can do work. If you give it enough Saber, it'll do work. Bane Sword is their bonus item. That's going to go slapped on the Black Mage for ADR. Could be used to take out Garland. I know I've had Garland resist Bane more often than I care to admit, but it's there. I will admit the winter
fast encounter right off the hard reset. That could make an overall grind possible.
That is nice. You go to Sky Tower with the airship, and then you can just go check all 6 zones that are around there and see if maybe you get some sandwiches or something else that's nice. ADR choosing to kill these imps. Which
Krelen did as well. With the Bane Sword, you're not using your spell cast, you're just getting that early experience and that little token cash.
Yeah, level 3 is nice to have on your characters. Does the job. ADR choosing to save that, go back. Krelen checks the top chest, gets some couch cash and a pure. Decent enough. Now he's going to go check the bottom. This is an interesting route. It's the opposite of what you see most people do, and I think it might overlap itself a little, but I'd have to count steps to be sure on that one.
I wouldn't be as pedantic to do that. I do find it interesting when some of the racers take on the fight and then go search before checking with the princess. That overlaps a bit.
Weird too. You got the key. Got the crowns. That's another turn in. Key is good. Key is one of our two, can be practically anywhere key items that you need to finish the game. The other one being the loot, which really can be anywhere. Any of
Krelen forgetting he had the key just there and actually leaving the castle.
I've done that. Actually, the best way would probably be just to warp down twice with your red mage and then walk back in. That might be faster than any other way. Again, gotta count steps and stuff, and we aren't pedantic enough to do that.
That is the ruby out of the treasury. So we've got the crown, we've got the key to the to the castle treasury, and then we've got the treasure out of the treasury itself.
Nice. The ruby. Okay, no key item here. Ruby is we're gonna need the canal for, but if crown, for instance, leads to ruby, then that's going to be a lot of key items that he can, or if a crown turn and leads to canal, then that's going to be a lot of quick turns he might be able to do just as soon as he has that ship, which is probably waiting for him at Bicky, because it usually is.
As Krelen takes on the bridge boss, ADR is actually sitting there taking down notes from these hint pads, seeing things like carry with nuke.
I know he's a big fan of this information. It's helped him before. You know what to expect from the bosses if you do it. Of course, as you can see, he spent a minute and a half there talking to all of them. That's time that you're not getting elsewhere, so it's a balance about whether or not you actually want to do that. We've got Wall here at level 2, followed by, at the black, Fast, and Zap, and Ice 2. So Wall and Fast are very useful to have. That's very nice to see right there. Get yourself your Ribbon spell, as well as the Hit Things Better spell.
And that Ice 2 is not an unreasonable sweeper for early game enemies.
Well, for here with Bicky, you put down your red mage and your black mage, and then you use the Bane Sword, and no matter what, these pirates should die pretty quick. Because they only really have, I think they get capped at like 9 HP in this flag set, because they don't have much HP in the vanilla game either. And then you're good. They're gone. Goodbye.
You're not expected to have multi-target magic at this point in the vanilla game, so you're supposed to just have 4 guys swinging and hitting with maces.
Yeah, it's a gatekeeper. It's meant to just be like a pause to make you think. But then we get the TNT, so that's another turn-in we can do. TNT in this particular instance indicates to me that we should, instead of going through the river system over to Crescent, go do that turn-in at Dwarf and see what that leads to. Chase your items as quickly as you can. ADR finding out about the magic, picking up that wall. Wall is helpful. Wall is nice. Really nice because it's also there for your red mage, so in this particular instance, he gets to have it as well.
For a moment, it looked like Krelen was going to take that left turn, but he decided he is going river system-wise. Whether or not he wants to do an early ice dive, it looks like no. With these levels, just having warp on that red mage is not incentive enough to make that early ice dive.
The first encounter being as early as it is it might help you get through like a certain portion of that floor early on, like delay the other encounters till later. But when all you have is Ice 2, going into an ice dungeon with ice enemies, that's a hard pass for me right there.
And instead, he's going to Armory and Volcano.
Finds white dragons, which also do not care about that ice spell.
Already having some interesting routing choices from our runners.
Mm-hmm. This is a choice that I wouldn't necessarily make. I wouldn't come to Armory normally until I've already gotten on my way to wanting to go and do carry, and he doesn't have the levels for carry right now. And this Mummy pack, as nice as it would be, is not going to care about that ice spell either. But
no fire spells, no harm,
no,
not the best equipment for
nothing.
it.
And he's getting beat down by this because he has no levels, bear in mind. And the mummies hit hard. This is really bad. This is death. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
that's
katana
minus two.
So good thing you've got life. You can bring back the red mage. There you go. Okay. And now you can warp out.
Well, as Krelen is doing his armory pickup,
Mm-hmm.
ADR is in dwarfs. He's going with the TNT, taunting the Hooray Dwarf in his snow shirt, evidently.
Well, again, that's the change of color there, changing the specific green to a white. So, and the crystal. So another turn-in that we can do on the way back. And now if we go and do the river system afterwards, we've been pushed towards that, so it's a nice routing for them to do that. Giant Sword +4 will be good for the mid-game, so it's good to have that right now. Whether or not he gets that Katana -2 after is another matter, but Krelen has that, can go start killing things with it at least.
We've also managed to pick up an Opal Shield +1 and a Falchion +3. The Opal Shield, again, for later, and the Falchion, an option.
Eh. You already had the
That
saber and the scimitar. You may as well just go with the giant sword.
Krelen checking the armor there in Crescent finds gold +3 for about 30,000 gold, I believe.
Arm 3, heal 3, warp. And there was a Sun Sword +1 over here on ADR side. That's lovely. And the floater. So that puts ADR solidly in the lead right here. Krelen having the rod's going to be nice. ADR is going to get that rod after he goes through the river system and gets down to Crescent right now. But now ADR has all the motivation he needs, and he's going to be in the air first, essentially. No ship needed, and can go turn in that ruby, too. That's a huge chunk of time that ADR just picked up.
The route divergence working out in his favor.
So you can kind of predict, because predictive placement, that when the game gives you a key item, you should go and chase that key item. And in this particular instance, it really worked out for ADR. It doesn't always work out. Sometimes you'll get some duds, or the game will be like, you really need this Vorpal early. But in this particular instance, the predictive placement said, you don't need to worry about ship and canal. Let's go get you that floater as fast as possible by chasing your key items. ADR did, and now he's going to be able to get in the air, and that's lovely for ADR.
One thing to note is ADR seems to have already gotten the number of this encounter table. He is getting some very good manipulation for long runs.
Oh, yeah. He's paid attention. He knows that there's that first encounter, and then he's probably been paying attention to the music cue, as many of us do, using that to time when he needs to save and reset, and he basically got no encounters straight from Dwarf all the way over to Crescent over here. Gold +2s, lovely.
Looks like he picked up those wood armor pieces as well for his Black Mage, trying to make it the dodgiest Black Mage ever exist.
Lightning 2 was also a spell there. It's a spell.
Ice 3 and Brack in level 3 Black Magic.
Yep, thank you for keeping an eye. I saw the Ice 3. Gear 3 and Fade. Okay, well, Fade for your White Mage is nice. Gear 3 for both is nice, and then you had that Ice 3. The ice spells still indicating to me ice isn't worthwhile, but the Fade, you could make an argument with the Fade now. ADR is going over to turn in the Crown, because he hadn't done that yet. He had to make a choice between Crown or Crescent, or Crown or Crystal, and I can't blame him for choosing the Crown. Or Crystal, I mean, because that was Floater. Not a lot of damage coming out, though, from his party. And Astos actually hits a bit tough for this level.
Oxyale for 20,000 gold in Elfland. So that is our vendor item located.
Useful to know. And ADR gets the tail. I think we'll see a very quick class change here in just a couple.
He's got the promo, he's got the incentive items sitting there in Cardia behind Bahamut. He also has the check for the Titan's Tunnel and Sarda right here. He has so many options and so many things just to straight up go and get.
Yeah, Krelen right now is dedicated to a very linear path, just due to not having that floater, and it's going to take him a little time to catch up on these checks. There's a chime for ADR.
That brings the dungeon options in play. They only need 3 orbs, and that means he only needs to find the cube, the rod, and or the Oxyale to have access to 2 more dungeons on top of Volcano.
Well, and we know where Oxy and Rod are at this point. So really, he just needs to find the loot and catch up on the key items that Krelen has that he doesn't. And then he'll be good to go. So we'll probably see him do this herb turn in now.
And
just to
that'll
find
take
out
him
what
to
it is.
Elfland, which he has not been to just yet. He'll see that magic, and he will likely see that sword or that Oxyale in the store.
Yep. And then might sell some of the gear that he's not going to use just to pick up the Oxy and have that out of the way. Gotta check the treasure chests first, though, here, over on the side, and the Elven Treasury. Krelen coming over here, got the chime. He's now checking to see what is here in Astos' closet. Astos' boudoir. Ruse stick, that's lovely.
That pays out, and now what's the grind tiles? That one is a nope.
I mean, I'd probably throw a fade at it right now just to pick up an early level, but I'd also have everyone else run out. Never mind. Run away. You're gonna lose that ruse stick in just a second. Sorry, guy.
ADR
Yep, there
picking up the cube in that that herb trade
Herb
up.
check. Yep.
There we go. Which means he now has Sky as an option.
Yep. Well, that's not going to be a problem for him. He'll take that Sky, and then he just needs to figure out which item he decides he wants to pursue next. He still has to talk to the sages. We're going to see him talk to the sages because he doesn't. Wait, no, he talked to the sages. Where was Rod at? Wasn't Rod sages?
Rod was Crescent Sages, yeah, I believe.
I could swear he went into Crescent. He has to have that Rod. So yeah, now he's basically just a loot away from go mode. So we're just gonna, and he might go do class change at this point then, because Bahamut will be sitting on an item, so that could be loot right there, and he could just be done. Doesn't have the money for Oxyale. Maybe doesn't care. We'll find out.
That giant sword in the Dwarven army was +4. That's actually quite good.
Yep, yeah, ADR had it, I pointed that out, that he was swinging it against Astos, and Astos didn't care because Astos was super evasive.
I knew they got it, I thought it was 1 or 2, but that is +4.
Oh, no. It was a nice giant sword. Still probably be beat by something else, maybe even the katana -2 long term, but it's good for through the mid game. It'll last him nicely.
Krelen going to pick up that floater, going to kick himself for his routing maybe, but at this point he can't complain too much.
Mm-hmm. And I think the Sun +1 is probably still better than the Giant. I'd have to do the math on that, and math on Twitch is not happening. There's ADR's class change from Bahamut with that tail that he picked up quickly from Ace Toast. A lot of money, which you'd expect, from... What was that?
That was the black shirt and then a katana -2, so that's both katanas accounted for.
So he has a katana. He doesn't need to worry about it from the armory and an ice +3. He is well set on all of the items. Gonna put the katana on the fighter, I'm assuming. There it is. He's good there. Still needs to pick up that ruse or something equivalent that he hasn't gotten from Astos yet because he didn't check the closet. But he's in good position to start trying to figure out where he wants to finish up the game at this point. ADR trying to decide whether or not he wanted to give up the wood set for the Black Mage. Decide against. Now he's warping out while Krelen goes and does his turn in for the floater.
Simultaneous sky liftoff.
Mm-hmm. And that was the loot, I guess, from Bahamut. I missed that because there was so much going on. And now ADR is going to check Astos because he's ready to grind, and he's going to find that ruse stick and be a very happy camper. And then that's pretty much endgame for him because with the loot, the presumed rod that we are sure he has, Sky Palace and Volcano all set up, he's good to go. That's a 15-minute go mode.
I mean, short of having some temper and some some temper and the saber bonk.
Yeah, he's good to go. I'm sure we'll probably see him go to... Yep, there's a loot. I'm sure we'll probably see him go to, the various magic shops or maybe just do the Lefane walk for the superstore and then be done with that. But, yeah, he's good. He is in good position now to just figure out his end game and just go. Especially when you consider that there's golds +2 sitting at Crescent Lake, so you do your grind, you take that money, you go buy some golds, and everyone has endgame armor. They're done.
And he knows now he doesn't even
Yep.
need to spend that money on the Oxyale because he has Sky. If he
Yep.
does have that rod, then he has
Yep.
access to Earth.
Yep. He'll be good. Trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do. The Mudgalls are okay, as long as they aren't, like, too rolled up. Unfortunately, this magic he has... Okay, yeah, they didn't roll
They
up
are
too
pretty
high.
thin. That's about 150 or
Yep.
so.
They're, porcelain. But, level 10, like, at some point, they're gonna stop being worthwhile. Because they're just, like, Mudgalls aren't worth that much EXP. But, like, if he decided he wanted to grind on one of these tiles for a bit, I wouldn't necessarily blame him. Let the Mudgalls kill some of them and finish off the rest, you know?
It's always a challenge to find the grind and decide where it is. Whether or not, I mean, if he's going Sky, he might just get a few levels on him, get his gear from these checks, and try for that overworld grind in the desert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a possibility, as long as he's remembering it. But he is at least taking some of these Mudgalls while he's here, and I think that's smart. Get some early levels going now while it's actually cost-effective, and then finish it all up later with something else. Because you got to take your fights where you can, and most of us have realized that you do whatever's worthwhile at the time.
Well, as far as a grind option goes, these are not that bad.
No. For right now, it's fine. He's got a lot of his key items taken care of, so he's getting decent bonus experience.
Man, Krelen went ahead and picked up the Oxyale. He had not gotten the Chime or the Cube, so he didn't know he had Sky on the table.
That's his go mode. He's good to go now, too, and with his class change and his katana in hand and everything he has. Now, the one thing I want to point out, neither of them have a ribbon yet. They just have that wall, and, like, wall's great, but the first one you have to wall is the red mage, and if everyone dies while the red mage is walling, that's not super helpful.
Krelen deciding to go Earth, check the Hall of Giants, see what he can find, hopefully get a grind there, and then go and stomp on a speed bump.
Some Frosty Boys, nothing that really worked out too well. And then looked like a giant iguana pack behind that, which, look, that's not good enough. And then Sphinxes, which... I mean, if you could get them to kill everyone but with the one character you wanted to grind, that would be okay, but they're not worth enough to actually multi-character grind.
This is interesting. ADR is going to pick up that Oxyale.
There is a school of thought that, especially when you're in the 3-orb flag set like we are here, the best thing you can do is go and do the high-yield dungeons. So we're talking... Sea and Sky, instead of like going and doing Earth with the long walk. Now, also, if for some reason he really didn't talk to the sages, even though he was there in Crescent, then that might be his go mode at this point. But like, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me that he wouldn't have that rod. So, like, why would you go in there and not get it? I guess is my point.
I'm trying to see, but the dang menuing is just that much faster than I can handle.
Yeah. We won't see if he has the rod, basically, until he's ready to use the rod. Now, in the position that he's in, the Frosty might have been takeable. He'll also see these mummies and will probably try and, like, kill them. Whether or not he does it more than once, he'll probably take them once, just because he's got the firepower to do it.
It was interesting. He went up there and checked that one chest when it's the chest next to it that's actually a better trap treasure.
But it's still the same tile that he already saw with the Frosty on it, so he might have just been like, I mean, you're not wrong, there's better trap treasure there, but he may have just wanted to go up there for a quick greed and move on with his life.
Now, I do believe this is where we found Krelen saw the katana first,
yes.
So this will be the second katana, so he'll have dual-wielding katanas between his melee characters.
Not bad. Even if they are a -2, that's still not bad. I would not throw out a slightly dinged up katana if I could have 2 of them, honestly. Have and swing. Exits. And that was all he was going to do, so he did the dip and dive as well.
He might just be out of houses. I believe he didn't have any to save.
Now he's going to buy at least 1 gold bracelet for his Black Mage. Now, just putting it there because the Black Mage had a room. Makes sense. Okay.
And
you're
there he
right.
is picking up the houses.
Grab just a small stack. You know, it's like when you go to IHOP, you just buy the small stack.
Well, that's the best thing about Denny's. You can get the build your own slam and just get two pancakes per $2 and pay as many stacks as you want.
This is not an endorsement of Denny's, but if we want to talk food, that is on the table. Krelen is down in Earth Cave, taking on the vampire. He has decided that Rod is his go mode. We see that he does not have the items for Sky Palace, so he's going to go do that.
Well, ADR has decided to go right back into Volcano. Now he's got the save items and is all kitted out with that golden ring on his magic caster.
With his magic and his heal pots, I don't think we'll be surprised to see him check a few tiles and see if there's a decent grind down here. The Agama tile and the Red D tile are still on the table. One of them could pay out with a fight that he actually could care about.
Krelen passing up on the Earth Armory. He's just going straight down to deal with the speed bump.
I don't mind taking the Earth Armory in this particular flag set, especially if you're still looking for a grind. There are a couple of tiles in there that you can't get elsewhere in Earth. Oh, that's a Flame Armor +3, by the way. But there are a couple tiles
of his melee characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the couple tiles in there, I know I have found the eye in that treasury before, so in the particular position they're in, it makes a certain amount of sense to go and check it, especially when you have warp. And that's a power bonk. Yeah.
Bonk.
So. Moves the flame up, the power bonk up, and the opal shield? You gotta take the opal shield on there, or...
Yeah, the opal shield would be better defense than that flame -2, so it's interesting he's leaving on there.
Not just better defense, but also gives you another protection that you don't have right now, because opal protects against lightning. And he neither has that by default on this fighter that has poison time and death protection, but he also doesn't get it from his armor right now. So it's curious. Maybe he just wasn't paying attention. I know I've done that. Doesn't check the Agama tiles, doesn't check the Red D. Apparently is okay with his magic or his levels the way they are, even if they are a little low. Meanwhile, Krelen is taking on the speed bump that is Lich, but Lich actually came to play today. Kills 3 of the 4 members.
That is one brutal speed bump. Collapsed 3 of his suspension, or 3 of his suspension. Is that a...
That's a black belt. Who are we taking? Who are we taking? Looks like he put it over the red mage? Yeah, no, the black mage. Decided he didn't want that black mage, he wants the black belt instead. Bearing in mind, I think the black belt's only like, well, now level 9, so not very strong right there. That's going to take a lot of grinding to get to where he wants it.
An interesting choice. He hadn't seen the second katana yet, so getting a thief wouldn't have been the best, or wouldn't be on the table for him.
ADR kills Carrie, decides to pass up on the duplicate fighter that she had there. Not going to have a double fighter strat going. Fighter thief is the way to go for him. And he's now coming out and sees Ankylos here on the lower right section of the encounter zones. There are 4 encounter zones here. Oh, that's
Pyro
gorgeous.
Off the hard. Let's see what kind of life it's got.
The T-Rex is wonderful. So, T-Rex is, I think, the best experience you can get in the game from a single enemy. It is fantastic. He's going to be here a while eating blue rare steaks. But yeah, no, there are 4 encounter zones here in Sky area. You can basically plunk the Sky Tower right in the middle as if it's a pin in between the 4 zones. And if you're looking for an overworld grind, you can come over here and try 3 of the 4 and do it. That was Glance, which would be Stone Poison. That fighter is not going to have to worry about that with the protections that he has. So should be okay to let everyone else die.
And honestly, having that stoned mage means it doesn't absorb experience, so it's better than dead in the case of not needing anything other than a soft potion to bring it back up.
Exactly. No life potion required for that. Please, stone all my other guys. I'm going to be perfectly okay with that.
Krelen, knowing where it was, he went back to the Mudgalls in tow flock to get some grind on that master and that warrior, or knight.
ADR already up to level 20 because of how good these blue stakes are.
short of finding a grind on War Mechs, this is the
This
best.
is tasty. This is tasty. It's like a level for 3 of his characters every fight. And it only takes 1 round to do it from the looks of it, so that's everything he wanted it to be.
And Krelen is coming this way. He might just be looking for the encounter as well, because he knows how short the encounter runs are.
It's a smart play. And now Fighter can single-handedly kill them. We need to let everyone who isn't going to be ground all the way to 30 die at this point.
And Krelen is finding his blue stake. He even has the blue stake or character sprite enabled.
Now, the one downside for Krelen here, well, 2 downsides because he's also unable to kill it single round, is that the black belt doesn't have that death protection, and we don't have a ribbon right now. So as soon as he sees that glance, he's going to get, also gets crit. He's going to have a very nasty experience. Well, no.
Didn't matter if it missed. He still died either way.
He still died. It's risky with the T-Bone being able to, the T-Rex being able to. Oh, there you go. See, this is like with the fighter down. This is not a good grind for him, honestly. That's glanced twice in a row. You need to bring that fighter back up, guy. You just 3 in a row. You don't have the MDef to protect against this.
I have to wonder if Krelen's got some regrets with his choice to swap out for this master.
He's gonna survive this one. That's gonna be a nice chunk of experience. 21, lovely. That's a break point for him. But
Isn't
it's
it like
still,
4
this
levels?
is risky. Yeah, this is risky. And bear in mind, the rest of his party does not have the levels at all. ADR has like level 20 something, what level 27 on 3 of his characters right here. Those are nice little health tanks for Topher.
That is nuke protected for most of his party.
Yeah, that's glorious, and he doesn't have to worry about it. He's just like, I can just do whatever I want. It's fine. Good stuff.
Saw him even soften up that black mage so he could get some experience before he makes his run up into Mirage and onto Sky.
Yep, just get some extra spell charges, I think, for that. Level 18's kind of nice for him. Well on his way to 28 for the other guys. I mean, Krelen's at 25. He's going to get his locomotive going pretty quick. But it
sure looks like it.
Yeah, but it's still risky in his case. He's basically all in on black belt and nothing else. So, and he has to take it, like, to make this play effective, he's got to take this to 42.
The answer to life, the world, and everything, and leveling.
Yep. So, chonky chimeras. This is north of 400 health for them, basically. But gets 28. I mean, you can't complain about 28. Krelen at the point where he can finally kill the blue stakes in a single punch. So that's helpful.
Those early fights that just kept not going his way have transitioned to fights that are just going the
all
one way it can way.
Yep. So he's presumably 10 fights from having this finished, and the longer ADR decides to take other fights in the process, the more time he's ceding to this locomotive. And they each have another crystal that they've already done at this point, with one of them being Volcano for ADR, so Krelen can go do a fast dungeon and get that out of the way for himself. Finally remembering to put the katana on the ninja. And the sun sword on the red mage.
Forced to swing, his red mage actually does have some potential.
Krelen menu's way too quick for me at this point.
I will say the menuing is probably the one thing that all these racers have well and truly got over me.
Still going. He got to 38, I believe, was his last level. 39. That's 40 right there. Probably just going to go straight to 42 and not stress.
Yeah, Selmark, and he already did Earth, so he can go straight to Volcano and make his way to punch out a Punch Master in the form of Kraken.
And we won't see him take levels here at Sky because he doesn't have the items for it. So, Oh, but there's still that glance. There's still that glance. Lucky glance through that MDef, but still, it did it.
Well, the thing is, he already had it promoted, so his MDef is not the MDef of a black belt. It is the MDef of a master.
Oh, yeah. So for those that don't know, it may be a glitch. It may not be a glitch. Just with the way that FFRs or Final Fantasy 1 on the NES is programmed, we just don't know. But unlike the other characters who get more MDef post promotion, the black belt goes from 4 MDef per level pre-promotion to 1 MDef per level post-promotion. And when you swap in a character over top of another character, it treats that character like all of their levels were gained at their status of promotion right there. Since his characters were promoted, that treats every single level the master got as a post-promotion level, meaning he only got 1 MDef per level for 42 levels. So that's kind of rough. Instead of like 160-ish, which would basically make him resist almost everything, he's still pretty much resisting nothing.
Now, I should note, ADR did check the chest on Sky 3 and found in CC's Gambit a white shirt. So he's got that Team Evasion item ready to go.
Still doesn't have, I think, any ribbons at this point, but there is one in the pool if he decides to chase it. I just don't expect him to chase it. Honestly.
At this point, short of Waterfall as a proximity play for Krelen, having to go to sea, I doubt either of them are going to be continuing to search for items.
Yeah, no, they're pretty much done at this point. We're not going to see the ship. We're not going to see the canal. We're not going to see much of anything except each of these beef tanks go and kill some enemies.
I never realized how beefy those arms on that sprite is.
Oh my god, they are. He's carrying around Trogdor arms, is what he's got. Slap a couple wings on there and some S's, and you've got yourself a dragon.
Don't forget the cromulent V's. That's consummate.
Consummate V's. An S and a more different S, plus some consummate V's. Downside is not really getting the crits here and doesn't have temper to make this any faster. So he's relying on some bad swords to do their jobs. 8 hits for 110, Blaze comes out. Most of the party resists most of it. But yeah, this is the downside here, and this is why the freight train is, like, hard to match. Because he's gonna get, 12 hits for gobs of that? Look at that. 20 hits for 22,000. And the time it took for ADR to do his entire fight, Krelen walked the dungeon and punched Carrie once in the next week.
Bye-bye, Snake Lady.
Yeah, bye-bye, Snake Lady, indeed. This is ADR's behind the 8 ball now.
It's suboptimal as far as the black belt can go, but it is still the punch monster in action.
Yeah. ADR needed Krelen to do anything other than blue stakes for his grind is basically what it is.
Now, there's one thing we forgot to mention. The black belt's Blursings, it came with plus 20 strength, plus 25 agility at a negative 15 HP. At this point, that 15 HP does not matter, and that plus strength just makes it even more punchy.
Yeah, okay, strength only matters to the black belt if he's swinging a weapon. Black belts are weird.
It doesn't factor into the damage?
Nope, it only strength for a black belt. Strength only matters if they're swinging a weapon. If they aren't swinging a weapon and they're going barehanded, it's just their level that affects everything.
Now that is news to me and makes total sense.
Yes, black belts are just weird. Like they work better when they're naked in all respects.
Thank you, J-Lo, saying that the unarmed attack is strength times 2, or is level times 2.
Level times 2, yeah. Yeah, strength is great for every other character because, they have to use a weapon. Black belts are weird. We got that. See, there's a problem. Thankfully, that fighter has poison protection, so he's good. But yeah, no, that's bad. Fortunately, it looks like my feed has locked up. Are you? Has your feed locked up?
The feed in Discord, yes, the stream is still active on Twitch, so.
Okay, I'm gonna go switch over to Twitch. Oh, there it goes.
There's our feed.
ADR has taken more blue stakes. That was one thing I wanted to point out. And, like, I can see why. He wants more levels. He wants more breaks. Killing Tia was way too difficult. But at the same time, Krelen's going to have a huge
all
lead.
of his, he is ceding his entire lead of levels to that single big beefy boy.
His lead is gone. He has no lead now. He is way behind. So, fast punch, almost 1200. Kraken resists. Okay, thanks, Kraken. Say goodbye to a red mage. Say goodbye to a Kraken. We're good to go. You can see the power of the black belt right there. Now, again, I want to point out that should you see any instant death in Topher before a wall gets off on that black belt is going to die. There's just no other way around it. So that's the one thing you have to be concerned with when you have a black belt like this. ADR now going to go walk to the superstore because he doesn't have slabs, so he can't talk to the Fanes. But he can go buy all the magic we have in our superstore flag, which is turned on for this flag set. The superstore, if you're not aware, is all the magic except for what's at Gaia is combined into a long row of shops here at a special shopping mall, giving us a free Lupa just for the hell of it. And now ADR can buy all the magic he might have been missing. Krelen, I guess realizing he doesn't have a house or is still looking for something, went to Topher, saved, left, is now coming over here, presumably to buy the thing that he's still missing. Which is some pro rings.
For his kit. That makes total sense to get. ADR definitely picking up fast, among other things, to go on his ninja.
Yep. Well, that's
and
a good thing.
Temper. Temper was slot 1, tier 5.
That's the nice thing about the Superstore is if you go here after you've class changed, before you hit all the other towns, you can just buy all your class change magic here and just get it done, like, super efficiently. You do have to do the long walk to the Fane, but I think it's still faster than flying all around the world to just get your spells that way.
I have to point out, we are still sub 40 minutes, and Krelen is about to dive Topher. This has been an incredibly fast seed.
Oh yeah, no, Krelen dominated this one. And the problem is that in the time it'll take for ADR to do Sea Palace, which is he's going to do now, I'm expecting we're going to see Krelen get to Chaos. Like, the dungeon is long, but it's not that long when you've got a freight train.
There's one thing that I have to wonder is, did checking those bats early for ADR and seeing or getting an idea of what's coming up in Topher basically instruct or guide his choice in grinding his team up? Because he might just think that Topher is going to be that bad.
And it could be. But again, no matter how bad a Topher is, I believe a 42 black belt is generally worse.
If you can punch them before they punch you, you usually win.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's got to get the punch off, and he's got to hope that instant death doesn't come up. Because more than the magic spells that are going to be thrown at him, it's the instant death spells specifically that are going to be a problem. Like, this is a clench and pray for 6 minutes kind of mode that he's in right now.
And we're here to enjoy watching it.
Yeah. If it was me, I would be puckered right up until the end game was over, you know?
Yeah, ADR finding those stone poisons, the ghosts in sea.
But his magic def is much better. Oh, but it's the thing we didn't get to see because the screen locked up for us. It was back to back too. That's foul. Thankfully, he's got some softs, so it's not the end of the world.
Never leave without softs.
Yeah, I might not buy them immediately, but I will when I see them at a shop and I have some cash later in the game. I'll pick them up. Oh, Opal +3. We didn't get to see that either. That is not bad.
It is a solid upgrade from those gold +2s, but even missing that, the gold +2 is some of the best store-bought armor you can get.
Yeah, that's Opal is 32, I want to say. So that's a 35-point armor right there. Oh, no. Yeah, 38 point. I'm trying to do math. I shouldn't be doing math. 38-point armor. Like, if you had that, plus the Pro Ring +3 that we saw earlier, and if you had a ribbon, that's actually still better than the armor that the black belt would naturally have at being at 43 for Krelen. It's just we never saw the ribbon, so
Well,
that didn't
ADR
help.
pulling into his Kraken fight as Krelen's pulling up to the first fiend, Kelly.
We know that this Kraken is super beefy. He really needs these Brax to hit, is basically what he needs. Because he's not getting the damage otherwise. Blizzard comes out. Stun came out before that. Thankfully, still hasn't really, like, struggled here. And then, there you go. She's done. 2 punches.
Snake Lady gone yet again, this time punched well beyond 2,000 years into the past.
So I want to point out one thing that that Krelen did here that I recommend against. And it's not like it's super dire. It's just, I've screwed this up enough that I avoid it. Because you can't get an encounter there at the next step past carry or lich or any of those. I don't heal or do anything until after I've exited to the next floor. Because I've done enough times where I'm like, okay, I heal after I kill lich. Like, cool. Now I have to press down to go, it's down on carry's floor. But I forget and I'm still on lich's floor. So I push the wrong direction and I end up, like, exiting and having to refight lich, or exiting and having to refight carry, and I feel dumb about it afterwards. So
4:13 or so, we got ADR joining Krelen into Topher, although Krelen is already on the Kraken 2 fight, where ADR hasn't even passed the plate.
See, and that's what I'm saying, like, 3 minutes, and Krelen is most of the way through this dungeon, and now he's gonna get a fast off. Fighter did Fighter's job, Fighter took a hit, Fighter died. Fighter will come back up. Oh my god, the rest of his party is in the teens. Oh yeah, that is some low health and experience right there. Woo! These are not characters that are meant to last. These are characters that are meant to support the black belt and do nothing else.
Evidently, we had an Excalibur in the validation chest picked up by ADR. Whether that will be all that relevant, we shall find out. Well, his knight's dead, so that doesn't help.
It'll come back. Honestly, slap the X-Cal on that knight. Your katanas are not doing a ton of damage, and the X-Cal, as long as it rolled up, is going to get bonus damage on top of bonus damage against everything except Chaos. If you remember, swap the fighter back to the katana for your last fight, but use it up through Tia, the X-Cal, because it's just going to get you better damage at this point. Something I know I'll tell you backseat commentating, but I probably would forget to do if I was actually playing.
Well, Krelen managed to get that wall off on his black belt. He's got it all the way in the back of his party, and with all the buffs, 17 hits for 1,600 damage.
Yeah, no, we're gonna. If Chaos lasts more than 3 punches, I'm gonna be amazed. And the only thing the black belt can do right now is punch. He doesn't have any other skills necessary to him. It's punch and go time.
Now you see him put it into the 3rd slot.
Yep.
If his party gets wiped otherwise, that's really just trying to go with the hold A and pray crit loop.
Yep, that's it. And we've seen the black belt, he's critting. There's no, and like the crit loop doesn't necessarily require crits to happen. It's just what we call it. It can be a damage loop of any kind, but yeah, no. And 700 damage already off that first punch. Chaos only answering with a Ice 2, and the wall comes off. Yeah, he's done. Chaos is not long for this world, and I think probably ADR already has seen it in the race room, because he went and checked both carry chests, which you wouldn't normally do if you're like feeling pressure to finish quick.
Yeah, I mean, those boxes are
there it was. Yep,
more or less worthless. That is the game for Krelen that brings them 1-1. There will be another match after this.
Yep.
GG in chat.
GG's. We'll see. He did that sub-hour, so we're going to have a little break in between here. But we'll see if Krelen has... Yep, there is Krelen. I will drag him down. Krelen, GG.
Hello, greetings.
So the black belt, that's pretty much your entire run right there.
Yeah, I want to see that and then seen the T-Rexes off the very
Uh-huh.
first fight, and it's just
Yeah.
like, well, I was just, oh my gosh, oh my gosh,
Yep.
oh my
Yep.
gosh, I have a chance, oh my gosh.
Yep.
Your dedication to stick it out once you saw how dangerous those T-Rexes were initially.
Yep.
I just
Yeah.
needed like one more level. I just needed to get a lucky punch, and it's like I couldn't go anywhere else. I'm not gonna come back. I just gotta
Yeah.
keep punching.
I get you. Well, and I mean, you made up so much time there because ADR had like a 5 minute lead on you because
Uh,
he went and did the turn-ins that became the floater instantly, where you went and circled the sea for a while. So
yeah, I'm not surprised. I was like, oh, he's gonna. Oh no.
yeah, yeah, no, but it worked out. Really, the deciding factor was the fact that you went and did Earth and he didn't, so he didn't even get to see the black belt.
Yeah, I figured I could take one down while I figured and thought about what the world I was gonna try and do to catch up because I knew I was probably behind after I got that late floater, or I mean early floater. Oh, excuse me,
Yeah,
early floater, but it was just in a really bad order. I'm like, oh, he definitely got that. ADR is just too good at this game. If I didn't run into that black belt, there was no way I was gonna walk away with a win on that one. I won at least one match versus an absolutely incredible opponent. I'm thrilled.
It was a hard-fought match either way, because ADR, he got hit. He was grinding in the desert as you were grinding in the desert.
Oh, are you serious? Oh, that's terrifying.
He actually found the cube and the chime, so he was setting up to go into Sky, which is why he didn't have to do Earth. And because of that, he found that blue stake and was grinding it happily.
I just went there on a whim. So I was like, well, it's a really easy, fast step. I can check all four corners of the desert. And it just happened to be right there. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I don't need anything else. I'm already in go mode. I have everything I need. I'm doing this. I'm leaving.
Well, ADR on his way onto into Chaos's floor, getting ready to finish off his dive into the fiends. See if he can get it. Chaos did not seem too dangerous, but then again, with how fast you knocked him out, Krelen, it's hard to say what Chaos really had in store.
well, yeah. And the thing is, with the amount of damage that you did, like we just saw everything fall over pretty quick, 1 to 2 punches. It doesn't seem like most of them had that much health though, because even with ADR coming in here with like not being able to do as much damage, he's getting through in like a round or two for each fight. So paper thin on top of the fact that you had the black belt.
Is he wielding an X-Cal there?
Uh, Probably an X. He had found 2 katanas, the X-Cal, and a Sun Sword +1, and he may have just not switched the X-Cal off.
The X-Cal was in the one of the Topher chests
Validation.
at the
Yeah.
validation chest.
Oh, wow.
But he actually found both of the katanas, so he
Oh!
was up to that point
Oh!
wielding them.
Well, now we're under a timer because Chaos has Cure 4.
Oh, that's awful.
Yep.
ADR actually saw that with the hint bats. It actually hinted that he had Cure 4, so
Yeah,
But
it does
that's
look
a
like
good
he's
amount
swinging
of
the
damage.
X-Cal now. Which, it's doing more damage than the katana was, so I can't blame him. That katana was, like, not doing crap.
It was a negative, I thought. I was like, this is
It
awful.
was.
negative
It was
2.
Yeah, damage was practically a nerf bat on that. But GG to ADR, who killed Chaos in 3 rounds despite the nerf bat.
GG.
3 minutes 10 seconds difference between or 4 minutes 10 seconds difference between the two. That is so close. It was still sub-hour. These have been some incredibly fast seeds.
ADR, GG.
Oh, thank you.
So, do you want to know the turning point for you? Because you had the lead.
Oh, we had a chat in the ratio.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I can't blame you for the decision. Like, Earth is long, and even with a high-level party, slow. But that black belt was waiting there.
Yeah, my strategy after talking to those bats, it said Tiamat had high hit points in nuke and Chaos had Cure 4 and crack. So I'm going in thinking I've got to be strong enough to take down Tia before I get nuked to death. Hence, I took the first grind up to the 400 hit points, and then after coming out, I was just a couple levels short of the next breakpoint on that katana. Then I'll take a few more and try to speed and power through Chaos. And Then I also wanted to pick up a rub because one of them had crack, and without a ribbon, that can end your day really easily. So I think I ultimately over prepared, but I think if I had to do it again, I probably would do it again.
Given the fact that neither of you found even the incentive ribbon, getting a rub and being prepared for those instant kill spells was probably the right move.
Well, and in fairness, yeah, like Krellen was one instant death spell away from wiping and having to go back and do it again. So like I'm sure you saw if you were listening in the chat. I was like, I would be puckered this whole run, just not worrying that an instant death spell comes out before wall or something does and takes out my black belt.
Oh yeah, that's the big risk going in, but speed and power, like Fizzle likes to say, speed and
Mm-hmm.
power.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you guys have game 3.
He muted himself. Let's see how long it takes him to realize it.
I give it 30 more seconds. Ah, dang.
What's up?
You
You
muted
muted
yourself.
yourself mid-sentence.
Oh, my bad. I didn't want to sneeze on the microphone.
Ah,
Yeah. So you guys have game 3 coming up. Are you doing anything special? Gonna prepare for that for the next hour?
No, I'm going to go lay down. I've been sick in bed.
Oh, I feel bad for you, man. You you didn't let it affect you in the game.
Oh, it's one of those moments where you're focusing so hard you forget you're sick.
I get you. So game 3 coming up. Since we have that coming up, and I know we're gonna raid over to Fizzle Beef for the race that he's restreaming right now. Let's do a quick round of final thoughts, and then we will see you guys back here in just about an hour.
Well, as I said earlier, I won one match against someone who's incredibly good at this game. If I lose in the third match, I am more than thrilled and pleased. I'm just happy to be here. I appreciate everyone that comes to watch, that sets the games up, does the restreaming. It takes a lot, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
ADR.
yeah, I want to say GG's, Carlin. You're a good player too. I knew it wasn't going to be too easy, and that's why I wanted to be prepared. It didn't work this time, but we will see what happens in a couple of hours here.
David, you got anything else for the runners?
no, honestly, as fast as the seed went, the commentary went just as fast.
Well, then I think we're going to cut it for right now. We're going to switch over to Fizzle Beef with his restream and the runners that are going on over there. Want to thank you guys for watching. If you like what you saw, want to see more, please come over to FileFantasyRandomizer.com where we've got links to the Discord and the development Discord, resources for you to learn everything right there on our wiki, and of course the game itself that you can randomize and play right in your emulator. From all of us here in the booth and the rest of Final Fantasy community, thank you for watching. We're going to switch on over in just a couple. And we will see you guys again very soon for the third match of these runs.